Hi, Sandra Wilson here, clinical hypnotherapist, and today I thought I would talk a little bit more about that chronic procrastination that we can often have with ADHD. Now, if you have experienced pretty much a lifetime of always putting things off, leaving things to the last minute, or just not starting them, not finishing them, that feeling can be incredibly overwhelming, incredibly debilitating, and you may have received messages from parents, teachers, colleagues that you are maybe lazy or stupid, or hopefully they wouldn't have been that cruel, but generally speaking, it's just a feeling that you have when you cannot start something, when you cannot finish something, and you're constantly putting things off to the last minute. It can sometimes show up to other people as laziness. Other people can often misunderstand this paralysis that people with ADHD can have. And of course, this is more commonly with women, as far as we're aware. So the ADHD paralysis, this feeling of overwhelm, isn't because you are lazy. You don't put things off or not do them at all because you are lazy. And it can feel often incredibly sad that you've wasted so much of your life with this. You might not have been diagnosed with ADHD. There may have been a suspicion that something else was going on, but these messages that you just aren't good enough, you're lazy, incapable, or whatever, they simply aren't true. So the ADHD paralysis is often a result of what we call executive dysfunction, which can simply mean you don't really have the ability to follow tasks or simple processes because the part of your brain needed for those things is just not engaging as it should be. And I don't want to kind of go into too much about that. I'm not a neuroscientist, but what therapy can be helpful for is the feelings of guilt, the feelings of low self-esteem and self-loathing that come from years of being told that you are lazy or stupid or not good enough. And you might have even fed yourself those messages. So ADHD paralysis or procrastination is often a result of overwhelm. Partly it's maybe the underlying fear that if you need to be perfect, then you're not going to start something, because the worry about getting it absolutely right, making no mistakes, is enough to put anybody off attempting anything. But also there's an underlying fear of being criticised. So that can sometimes contribute to the paralysis of not starting something, because if you don't get it perfect, yes, you're in the firing line for being criticised. And of course, many women with ADHD have a deep-rooted fear of being rejected. So sometimes that can play a part as well. So it's the inability to focus long enough on something, the problems we have with executive dysfunction. So starting a process, being able to focus long enough and concentrate on following steps can be difficult in and of itself. But the feeling that you have to be perfect and you might be criticised or told off or judged if you don't do it. So all of those things can contribute to this sense of procrastinating and paralysis. And therapy, especially hypnotherapy, can be so helpful with addressing the feelings that you may have noticed over the years. Even if you're post-diagnosis, you might look back and think, my self-esteem is in tatters because of all these these beliefs, these messages that simply weren't true. So therapy can help you really clear some of the baggage, and it also can help with tackling procrastination, because underlying procrastination is often fear. Like I said, fear of judgment, fear of criticism, fear of not being perfect, fear of failing, big E. So yes, therapy can be helpful. If this has made sense to you, and if you have had this lifetime of paralysis, not being able to get things started or finished and feeling guilty as a result, think about getting in touch, because I might be able to help you. Bye for now.